Okay, welcome to the Box Truck Hustle podcast, where we talk real business, real money, and real lessons from the box truck industry. I'm your host, Telly Arnold, and my co host is Sharif of TLA Group. My other co host is Derek of Fast Lane Trucking and Logistics, and our guest today is Michael King with King Fam Freight out of Philadelphia. So,
Yes.
Michael, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. I am a freight broker. I'm out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I had a great deal of being just dispatching trucks. I just recently got into freight brokering, the past year. But prior to that, I had years in just dispatching trucks. I wouldn't even call it dispatching. I feel like I did like a lot of things, a lot of just checking compliance, a lot of back office things, a lot of just connecting the dots and with shippers, with trucking companies as well. So it was other connecting factory companies with trucking companies that I built relationships with factory company agents. Um, so it was a lot of things that I was doing just outside of just simply finding a load for a trucking company and then making sure that they, were paid and different things like that. I felt like I was doing a lot of consulting, just a lot of dot connecting, for over some time, which I feel like led to me, even making the transition to do freight brokering.
Okay, so you are a freight broker. So you out
Yes.
there making sales and
Yeah.
you're looking for carriers.
Yes. Well,
Okay.
I want to say looking for carriers. Um, um, Fortunate enough for myself, word of mouth kind of like spreads a lot. With just doing being able to be in position to do good business with individuals.
Okay.
So I don't necessarily have a problem. I'm there. I'm still just growing as far as building the customers. I do have some customers, but I'm still growing. Like I said, I only been in this space for a year,
Okay.
so I always welcome in any types of customers. Obviously, I'm in that industry, but um, as of right now, I don't it's not that's, I don't have a problem with in that field.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So one thing you said on your interview intake form, you said that you're self-taught.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Can you
So
give a little
so
bit
the
more into that?
the thing the pretty much the thing with that is I was in a situation where my business, my current business was I was in a food truck industry. Um, and I've dealt with that for a few years and kind of like was in that industry. It was okay, but it wasn't really for me. I didn't like the fact that I had to be there every single day, every single morning. I was searching for a situation that was really geared more towards being anywhere, right? In the world and still being able to get the job done. So in doing that, I had to search. I went on the infamous YouTube University where you go down that rabbit hole, you type some stuff in, go down that rabbit hole, some things pop up, you kind of research some things, and then you kind of like see what piques your interest on the videos that you see. So I saw logistics and dispatching, and it kind of like was in my head. And then I was at a wedding, and a guy there was pretty much saying what his wife was doing as far as like dispatching trucks and things like that. And that happened to be my wife's cousin. So I reached out to her. I asked her, hey, what's going on with that? She started telling me about a class and, that she was doing. She had like this real thick booklet with a bunch of information in there. So I went to her house, got the booklet, looked up, piggybacked off the YouTube videos that I was able to watch prior to, and then kind of like locked in on dispatching. And and that's why I say I was self-taught because I had to piece things together to be able to be in a space to know what it was that I was talking about. Um, Years ago, I didn't know what a 53 drive van was. I didn't know what a reefer was. I couldn't tell you what a flatbed was, a hot shot, any of those things. Um, Fortunate enough for myself as well, my brother drove trucks. So when I was asking certain questions, he would be able to help me out. Like, this is what a flatbed is. This is what this is. So I piggybacked off those questions that I asked him as well to be able to get more information on what it is that I needed to know. And then I just start. like just really diving in. I started learning. Like I was on YouTube, watching uh the original mix of Peterbilt. Who created those? Um what did they originally look like? Like I was on that. Like aside from doing different things, doing work, dispatching trucks during the week, on the weekend I would still study like film, I would call it, just to learn. Nobody, the logistics space, a freight broker, a dispatcher, nobody is doing that where I am, like that I knew of. It's not broadcasted. It's not a thing that how it is in certain states. Whereas though, a lot of people know of it, not a lot of people know of logistics brokers and so forth and so on. It's not a popular thing in the city of Philadelphia. So
Gotcha.
when you think about trucks, you think about people with CDLs and driving them. You don't
Right.
think about the logistics space and the fact that people is out there advocating for contracts, sitting in meetings with customers, doing compliance things, insurance, all that stuff. You don't know the whole back office of what it takes to make up trucking companies and to be in that whole logistics space. Period. So
Right.
that's what I mean by self taught.
Gotcha.
I
Okay.
had to
I
learn all that
understand.
on my own for sure.
Mm.
Understood. Understood. So as far as the brokering piece, have you ever brokered? You had loads for like box trucks, like
Yeah.
the
So
difference
that's
between that and
so that's typically what I gear towards. I feel like um, and this is with all due respect to my CDL guys. The CDL guys, they got it made. They a little bougie, you know, and they got it made. They the king of the road, rightfully so. They took time out to pass that test. And I feel like it's, not to, not to try to put people over people, but it's really tedious operating those big equipment types. Even with the flatbeds, tarping, different things like that, different weathers, different states that you're going through with different situations, it's very tough. So with in freight brokering, you have to figure out what is your niche or niche. People say, two different things.
yeah,
They say some say niche, some say niche, but you have to figure that out. So I kind of want to. I gear my niche more toward less than truckloads, which is more box trucks. For guys who necessarily don't have the experience like a CDL driver, but they have a trucking company. Obviously they can you don't have to have a CDL. You just have to have a regular driver license, so you could put a family member in there. An individual could form a MC and DOT, buy a truck, and then they can hit the road themselves. And they need guidance. They need to kind of like figure it out because they jumping into this industry off a thing that they heard and don't know the slightest thing of like the intel on like really what it takes. So um with those guys, I love to being able to like I guess help build an individual from the ground up. We're finding them customers locally in their area um to provide them with contracts and steady work for their vehicle equipment because it's a lot of people, it's so many people, as you may know, that just went out and bought a bunch of box trucks. They don't really know
yeah,
they don't know the world. They don't know the industry. You know what I mean? So it's way more of that equipment type than it actually is work.
yeah,
So I took it upon myself to say, I get to work first, and then I know I won't have no problem moving this work because there's so many people with this equipment type and these trucks that need help. So I kind of like advocated for um, getting 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 situations contracts for those individuals because I feel like um, that's the most needed truck in my own personal opinion. Not that I
gotcha.
don't do anything for flatbeds and hot shots and drive vans as well, but I just when I came into it, that was more like my the first thing on my to do list, basically.
So, and piggybacking off of that,
Yeah.
uh, you have two carrier companies right here. How can you help us get some dedicated lanes? Yeah, I'm just gonna go
What area?
ahead.
What area? What area are you guys in?
Well,
We're
I
in.
had a
Go ahead.
I had a better question. Uh,
Uh,
uh, uh, I had a better question for Mr. King, and I've given Derek the same props by him being in Atlanta sometimes your where you are benefits what you're doing. And I feel you being in Philadelphia, and I've told Telly that I will go out there and just spend time in that little cluster because you got three cities right there on
Right.
top of each other.
Right next
That's
to each
more
other. Yep.
freight. Yeah, so that's more freight. Then you can go up there to New York and get all that up there. So do you feel like where you are benefits you being a broker?
So 100%. I didn't necessarily when I set out to do it, I wasn't looking at it that way.
Mm-hmm.
What I was just setting out to do was trying to fix a problem and be of service where I felt like there was a need for. Like I dispatched guys that were close by in those states, like in Jersey, in New York, in Philadelphia, and it was like, obviously when you doing a spot market freight, um, some you can run into situations where numbers are okay or even good, but we know that they're getting it for way more. So my
Mm-hmm.
my my, my objective was to always be like, how could I somewhat cut the middleman out and be not kind of cut them out, but I feel like they just wasn't doing the right thing with their in their position.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't want to name no company names. I don't want to bash nobody, but we know some of the big infamous companies that try to give you pennies on the dollar. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And it was a situation where it was getting frustrating, you know. And I was having talks with carriers, and they kind of like pushed me in that direction. Like, yo, I really think that you should become a freight broker so you could be able to help us out with
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
getting better, way better rates because we know that you would do it. It's almost like I took it. I felt like running. I was running for president or running for mayor or something like that because it was
Yeah.
like I was setting out for a goal to have better to find better pricing for the local individuals that were around. So when I
Yeah.
started to do my homework and realize, hey, I'm in one of the, you know, I'm in that northeastern pocket of like big pharmaceutical companies and still,
Mm-hmm.
those type of
Mm-hmm.
companies are right there. So it was like that's a car ride away, a train ride away for me to be able to walk in some of these places and say, introduce myself and gain those relationships, those contacts that will result into contracts.
Exactly.
So I discovered that later on to answer your question. I didn't think of it right. I didn't know that right away that I was sitting on a little bit of gold, but I
Mm-hmm.
discovered that that I was.
Gotcha.
That is something that I always wanted to do was like team up with a broker who could go out to get the work because the trucks are there.
Right.
In my opinion, the trucks are there. You're going to find carriers, but you need to find the right carriers, the ones who's
Yeah.
going to be on time, communicate, keep their trucks operational as best as they can. And that is something like I've always wanted to, we go above and beyond on our end, and it's been maybe one broker in this last year who's came to us directly before a load even hit the load board.
Mm,
And we've had customers call the broker and say how good we did. But do
mm,
you
Mm-hmm.
think they pick the phone back up and say, hey, this load is going to be available? Are y'all going to be in the area? They liked how we did our work. We're trying to build a relationship. I don't understand why brokers aren't doing that,
But
especially.
that's where you gotta kind of like, I wouldn't say box them out, but I encourage all carriers to say, hey, listen, brother, sister, when you get to these locations, ask for the shipping manager, right? Get their phone number, email, and name so you can be able to go back and reach out to them and say, hey, I'm right around the corner, right? I'm pretty sure if they gave it to me for this number, meaning the broker, that nine times out of ten, they're getting it for way more. So with that being said, hey, listen, I can do the lane for you for less. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm really right here. Let me introduce myself. Let me prove myself by running the lane and being communicative and being total full communication during the course of this, right? Show you my pictures of the freight. Get there in a fashionably organized time in which I said, and prove myself, and then see if I can be able to take it from there. A lot of people, it's a lot of people that can drive their behinds off, right? But
Mm-hmm.
they don't take the time. They don't want to deal. They want to complain about not getting the correct, the fair share of the pie, but don't want to go in there and negotiate and advocate for themselves when they're right there. Like you're right there. right?
But
This
you don't
broker
want to
might
get a
be
freight
in
guard, but you don't want to get
Alaska.
a freight guard either because you're trying to go behind the broker either because you got to have the right type of conversation when you're
Yeah, you gotta
approaching.
That's a
Yeah,
fact. Yeah, that's a
say it
fact.
yeah,
in the right.
But that's what see what you said. You said the right conversation to get it out there.
Yeah,
You ain't got to
exactly.
really say, get them out. I want to cut them out. But you said it right and be polite. Introduce yourself. Offer your number. Offer things to these individuals. You're right there to not try to figure that out. Don't make sense when these people you're around a corner from this factory and these people are in Alaska. Um, um, brokering and taking away from these they didn't even walk into these facilities to advocate for you. It's more so for them, and then they thinking about you on the back end as helping
Hmm.
them out with a situation that they got going on.
yeah,
They're not really thinking about you first. It didn't come in it. 9 times out of 10, a lot of these big companies recruit these students out of these these different locations, and they prompt them to be able to make money, not for them to be able to solve the problem and keep circulation flowing within our country, right? Because uh, we all know trucks make this country go around.
right,
Hmm.
Logistics make the world go around, right? Got boats coming in from overseas, flights, things getting dropped off, a lot of things we wouldn't have if it wasn't for that, right? So, but they don't think about that aspect. They just thinking about money.
right,
So
right,
I don't care to really to do business with an individual that thinks about money and not thinks about how can I partner with individuals so we all can make money together and as a team, as a unit. It
right.
doesn't, it doesn't, it doesn't work like that. And I have a huge problem with that. So in that regard, I always preach to, carriers, figure it out.
I mean,
Figure
at
it
the
out.
end
If
of
you
the
feel
day,
like you've been treated fairly, I'm trying to think and figure it out. Go, I'm listening to you, Derek.
oh no, I didn't mean to cut you off, but at the end of the
You
day,
good?
it's worth the risk, even with a
Hmm.
freight guard being held over your head.
Hell yeah.
Because
Hell yeah.
at the end of the day, because I take this one lane of freight that goes out on like maybe Monday or Wednesday from a broker. If that's gonna upset you enough to try to put a freight guard on me, then I don't want to do business with that type of broker anyway. And at the end of the day, you're gonna make more money securing that guaranteed Monday, Wednesday load with a person that's local or that's not far from you that you can just, like you said, go in the office and actually talk to that person.
That's a
Right.
fact.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You're
Yeah.
gonna secure more of a thing to where I'd be like, fuck a freight guard. Cause
Yeah.
I'm
Fact.
trying to distance myself from the lower board in
Yeah,
general to where
General, right.
that's the only way a freight guard is gonna hurt you on the lower board.
That's a fact.
Because if you're
That's what I
going
was
in,
getting ready to say.
right, if you're going into shippers and like I said, I'm in the Atlanta area, and that's the thing that I've started doing is just to the fact that like, hey, let me just go talk to these people and go talk to these people directly, let them know that hey, I'm 30 minutes away, I'm 20 minutes away.
Right.
If you paying the broker 4,000 for this, I'll just take it for 25. I'll just take it for
See, but look,
18.
let me say this, but this is the thing, and that's what I tell individuals, right? The thing is, a lot of those companies, a guy might have one truck, and he goes into a shipper and say, "Hey, listen, I can help you with X, Y, and Z," right? But they need more than one truck,
Right.
so they typically hear you, but then they don't hear you because they need more than one truck, right? Although you 30 minutes away, 10 minutes away, 15 minutes away, right? So what I'll tell individuals, I say, listen, let's work together. I'm in Philadelphia, you in Atlanta. You in Atlanta and you know of a place that's right there near you, go inside of there, get some information from them and say, hey, listen, I'm working with this brokerage that got a network of trucks. And grab the fish, I'll will them in, cook it, fry it, and add you on to the contract, right? If
Right.
they needed 10 trucks, you only got one, I got access to nine. I just add
Hmm.
you one to the nine, now we got 10, right?
right,
And now you got a situation where they dealing with you, opposed to just turning you away because you only had one vehicle. See, that's us working together. We're
And
working
see,
together with that. So
Hey, brother,
I encourage people to do that all the time.
I 100% believe in collaboration, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, it don't always,
right,
Because
you
they,
know
I
how the
yeah,
mean,
other
those
end be
companies
working.
be so big, they super big companies.
Yeah.
So I
Or not even the
understand.
companies, just the other carriers. Because where if I was in a situation like that,
Yeah.
I could trust calling. Sharif and Telly about, hey, I got this situation over here going on. Do y'all want to latch onto it? While they're
Right, right,
saying
right.
yes, the next two or three people I'm asking, they don't want to get on because everybody want it all for themselves.
No, facts,
So,
but that's where you
so
would
yeah.
call. That's where you call me. Hey,
Right,
King, listen.
right,
Hey,
right.
listen, man. We need 3 more trucks. I got you. I can get 3 more trucks in your
Well,
area. I'll go ahead and,
let
you
me
know what I mean?
ask you
Yeah.
one
Oh yeah.
question because I did sign up with like a freight broker company.
Okay.
And he was like, if you go get the work, I'm gonna give you commission.
I don't like that though. You
Yeah.
feel me?
No.
If you go get the work, we gonna split it down. Cause if
We're
I
gonna
can
split
add
it
more
down.
trucks,
Yeah.
yeah, if I can add more trucks to the
Nah.
situation, you already went and got it. We breaking that down.
So
Yeah, he
if
eating
say
too
for
much off of
instance,
that.
if I
Commission.
get the thing,
What?
I get a percentage of that. Plus, I get a percentage off that truck if it's not my truck. That's how he was kind of explaining it.
He
So if
give
it's
you get a
not my
percentage of a you get a percentage off of what?
so say
Another
for
truck?
instance, if I got some freight to move,
Hmm.
if I get a warehouse or whatever,
Hmm.
my box truck isn't available, but then I go put it on the load board and I get another truck to do it, I would still get paid off of it. Did
Okay.
that make sense?
That ain't bad. Yeah, that makes sense. That ain't bad. I like
That's
that.
what he was trying. That was he was saying. If I find the work and my truck ain't available, I would still get paid if it's a different truck.
Oh,
But he
so that
still
oh, all
technically,
right,
but
all right, all right.
he's auctioning off the work to you. You basically
Yeah.
doing the work, and
He
he just
yeah, he make you making his job super
yeah,
easy
you
for
making
sure.
his job super easy. So
Yeah,
it
yeah,
better be a nice cut, cause nah, bro.
But I ain't
yeah.
had
Yeah.
time to go do it, so it
Right,
don't
right.
matter. So how would you do it? It would be more of
So what
it
I
be
would do is it depends on what happens. So if you went in there and talked with somebody and they said that they needed help, right? Let's say you went to what's the where location are you in? You in Houston,
we
you
in
said, right?
Houston. Uh-huh.
All right, so what's a big what's big that's inside of Houston? What's a big warehouse there, a big company? Let's say Walmart. Let's say Walmart,
Yeah, let's do that.
right? You talk to somebody inside of Walmart, right? And you
Mhm.
got the shipping manager's phone number and contact information. You know, he said you talked to him, had a small conversation. He said, "Yeah, I need some help." You said, "Hey, King, this guy said he didn't need help with some trucks, blah blah blah. You know, we only got 2 trucks. Can you talk with him and see what's going on?" I will put a conference call so that we all on the phone, right? So you hear everything that's being said, right? You can hear the
Mhm.
numbers, you can hear what's going on, you can hear the plan, everything, right? Everything will be heard. Right? We're on the total call. Whatever the number is, I will split that with you because you went and got that. I wouldn't have known nothing about that, right? So if that brought in $3 million,
Gotcha.
just to give an example with the $3 million, right? If it paid out $3 million, we got to break that down. You secured that. All I did was finish the job. So it was a team
Absolutely.
effort. We worked together. We worked together on that. So we would come up with a game plan on how, because obviously they wouldn't give us $3 million up front, right? We would have to, work it out over a course of a year. But we would come up with whatever strategy we coming out with to make it so that we broke that down evenly. That's
Yeah.
what I would do.
Cause
Yeah.
that is something we talked about because it was like three or four of us. We all had one truck and we were trying to figure out how we could work together.
Mhm.
That all fell apart. But
Right.
I still believe in how could I do it with my one truck? And I was like, you gotta have a broker. It's like that's
Right.
the only way you're gonna be able to get around it. You gotta
That
have a
and
broker.
the right carriers too, like you said.
Yeah.
That trust, and we know what we gonna do as TLA group. We gotta have that same. We gotta pray that the next partner, the next carrier that has one truck has our same delivery service and our same values. That way we can give the same service. If he don't show up and or we gotta also make sure that we're giving the same service to keep the contract too. You get what
That's
I'm
a
trying to
fact.
say? We
Yeah.
got the same trust, but can we give the service they looking for to keep it? To maybe get another one they can extend us. And
I
that's the
agree.
main thing, you know.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that 100%. But I like that's why I like love local things because we can sit and talk
Hmm.
versus like some over the phone stuff or Zoom. I'm in Houston, you in Houston. Let's meet up here. Let's talk. Let's figure this out. We said it was like some interview. I didn't like these other carriers' mindset or the conversation or any of that. Right. So we moved on. We went with somebody else. right? Vetted them out, see how they were. They were a perfect
Mm-hmm.
fit, and that made sense. I don't things that are like that's why I try to keep it in my northeast region because I'm able to physically pull up on
Mm-hmm.
carriers as well as the customers as well. If there's any issues, any
Right.
Mm-hmm.
problem, I don't need to call or send a bunch of emails, nobody responding, or this is not going on. I'm able to do so, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you in Houston, your flag is planted in Houston. I could talk to you. Hey, listen, Telly, can you make sure that's, hey, Sharif, are we, is everybody good? What's going on with this truck? Is that,
Mm-hmm.
we able to really, cause we right there with the things. We know this.
Exactly.
It's not with like, again, where we're going to the North Pole and we don't know these people and we don't know what's going on. And then we out here and
Yeah.
it's a total miscommunication and bad business.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what
I
I mean?
agree.
So
I agree.
local.
I've just even just some of the last few shipping managers I've talked to, a lot of them are getting away from even wanting to deal with big brokers
Yeah,
because it's just like it's too much of a hassle, and it's like I said, they could really you could cut the middleman out in any situation. You can make it cheaper on you as a business.
for sure. My main thing, I don't want to be big. I just don't. I just feel like it's too much work. It's too much. I'm cool. When I was a
Yeah,
kid, that was my goal to have like a big office and all this, all this type of money and those
yeah.
things. But it's too much
Them,
responsibility.
yeah,
It's
them
too
dudes
much.
they be jumping off the top of
They,
buildings, man. They be
yo,
so stressed out, dude.
bro,
For real.
bro, for sure.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you
You
right,
understand what I'm
man. You
saying?
right.
For
Yeah,
sure they do. But it took me
yeah.
a while. I had to, get older and kind of realize and see things for what it is. I thank God for logistics because again, I'm able to connect with so many different people, such as good people such as you guys, um, and just do my business from anywhere in the world, realistically. But I don't want to be big. If I get to a point of what I just want to do is partner up with different people in different situations and then just execute where they are.
Mm-hmm.
Teach people kind of like, whatever I know, share it, share the relationships, figure out how we can get money together and then kind of move on from that. Not, I got this company, a whole bunch of employees and this. I don't want that. I want
Mm-hmm.
partnerships. I want partnerships. I want great conversations. I want real things that'll last for many, many, many years. I have great relationships with people that I've never seen before in my life, like
Got
for
you.
years,
Mm-hmm.
right? I remember I had my son in shout out to Miss Ann. Miss Ann is um 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 and located in Gary, Indiana. I think they from Gary, Indiana, but they like the Indiana, Chicago area. Um, Great relationship. With their family, just such a great relationship. But I couldn't tell you what she looked like. Like I haven't talked to her for years. I mean, I'm talking about I had my son. She prayed over my son in the hospital over via the phone.
Mm-hmm.
We made a lot of money together as far as helping her build her trucking company. But I don't know what she looks like.
Mm.
She don't know what I look like. We never met each other in person.
But
That's
you
the
would think,
power and logistics.
thank you, but you think that's also when you meet somebody and they help you succeed, it's supposed to be a bond there. Most of the
Yeah,
time, success break us apart. Why? Because there's money involved, and we getting bigger egos, but we supposed to appreciate each other and then grow from it. You know what I'm
that's a
saying?
fact. That's a fact. And that's all I want. I don't want big. I didn't have people call me drivers. They got pulled over on the road. They got something in the car that they didn't have. They calling me, letting me know, hey, listen, I look like I might be getting locked up. State trooper in the background. It's like, listen, man, if I need bail, can I call on you? Yeah, man, you can call me. If
Mm.
I got it, you got it.
Mm-hmm.
State trooper ended up letting them go, little warning, whatever it was. But he knew right then and there that it's deeper than this logistics and getting money and this, that, and the third. Those are the type of bonds and relationships that I kind of want. If I can help, if I can do something, if it's there for me to do, I'm going to do it. It's deeper than, and your character, your personality, everything spills into your business.
It's
You
Mm-hmm.
all
know,
about relationship building and trucking. Once you
for
learn
sure.
Yeah.
that, it's this is really what it is. And that's why sometimes I got to get out and I got to network. I mean, a lot of people like to stay behind their computer, but I've been like really working hard, getting out, shaking hands, letting people know about the podcast, letting people know about the platform that I'm building because I want the relationships there. I don't want
Right.
just hype or social media influencers. No, this is something that I'm really trying to build for the box truck community.
Yeah,
Um,
I thank God, I thank God, and I thank you for even doing it. I came across your page, seeing what you was doing. I'm like, I like it. I like the energy that you guys had, I like the thing that you guys touched on, and I like the fact that you bring awareness to just the trucking industry in general.
Mhm.
I feel like personally, it's a lot of kids that's in school for different trades, and they learning, carpentry and plumbing, and but hey, there's another thing out there. It's a logistics world. You can get a CDL. It's different things
mhm.
that they just don't even think about. Yo, you can get your CDL, drive a truck, and you can get your own trucking company,
Or
and
when
then
you
tie into
tell
your
them you don't,
business.
when you tell them you don't need a CDL, that's when they
Mm.
eyes. Because we went to a job fair and we were telling them you don't need a CDL. This is like your entry point.
Yeah,
When you
yeah,
start in a box truck, this is your entry to start into a semi. To
yeah.
me, this is the foundation. I had no trucking background, and Sharif had to explain I was a service, this post and pre. When I got behind the back of the wheel of that box truck, I was like, nah, this, I'm still waiting to get more lessons, but I
Mm.
envision so much when I create this platform because I watch too many social media influencers. I made six figures. Well, we made six figures. What was your profit?
Yeah, what was the net? Yeah, what
Mhm.
did you net?
What did you
Yeah.
Not the
net?
gross.
Not the
Yeah, not the
gross.
gross. What you
That's
net?
what people like to get out there and brag. Oh, I made six
Yeah,
figures. And when I saw our revenue, I was like, oh, well, we made six figures too, but it don't feel like it. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
I,
um,
I think the one thing though, I think I would encourage younger people, especially now, like most people who don't know what they want to do in life nowadays, is just go to the military, which is a good hack because you get a lot of benefit. But getting that CDL early, I think is good. Even if you don't start off driving a CDL truck, it would even help you as far as getting in a box truck because even with the insurance, it'd be lower because it's so that you have an active CDL that you
Mm.
have active CDL. But like it's a easier route, especially for a young person because they don't mind being out, being on the road with all that, man. Like I think it's a good thing to have in your back pocket, whether
Bro,
you use it
I would,
frequently.
bro, I would
Because
do
if
it for sure.
absolutely
Bro, listen,
20 year
bro,
old there, I definitely would have went
bro,
and got me one.
bro, listen, bro. You got to think about it like you got to think about it. You get to travel the world for free.
For
yeah,
free.
Let's say you get your CDL and then you work for a big corporation. You making money, you get to travel the world for free. You get
Sleeping
to see
good.
the.
and
Well, no,
sleeping.
I
Yeah.
didn't mean to
Yeah.
say, I didn't mean to say the word because obviously you can't drive
Well,
in a
Mhm.
well, you
semi or
saying the
Well, we
whatever,
United
got what
but
you're
the
States,
saying.
country,
we
yeah,
got to
the
say,
Yeah.
country.
yeah.
You get to see
Mhm.
the beautiful country that you are from. You get to see it all, right, on
Yeah.
someone else's dime,
Exactly.
right?
You
You
ain't
get
got
to
to
And all
worry
you
them,
about where you going to lay your head
at all.
either.
Everything is
uh,
right there, and the
Everything
semis
is
ain't
right
doing nothing.
there.
And they
and
getting better. They advancing. They getting better. There's more
yeah, oh
TVs
yeah,
and there's so much stuff that they add to them
hooking up,
joints is
they hooking up
crazy.
their PlayStations and their with internet and everything. But my thing too, while you out on that road for 11 hours a night or whatever, you got time to think and really figure out what you want to do in life.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I'm saying? That's the best time here. You out on the road, you driving for hours on hours, you seeing different parts of the country. Oh man, I like this part of the country. Oh, I like this area. Like it's definitely something I think more people should look into just getting, just
for
securing
sure,
it and having it.
for sure, for sure.
And
See me,
stack
Mhm.
their paper.
I'm like a mediocre driver. I'm a mediocre, so I couldn't get my CDL
Right.
or do none of that. I'm
You,
mediocre,
you know your
mediocre driver,
strengths. You know your
mediocre.
strengths and
Yeah, I'm a
weaknesses.
mediocre driver, mediocre parker, parking guy, right? But I knew that I was a great negotiator. I was an individual that I felt like needed to be inside of those places to be able to advocate for everybody that's kind of like on the road and putting their life on the line every time they get inside of one of those semi trucks. It's just like to me, it's just like being in the military because um, um, somewhat simply because you are servicing the country. service in the country. These goods and services that's in the back of this, that's in this trailer that you taking, is gonna it supplies for this town, this city, this state, so individuals can have food, um, um, tools for shelter, and so many other things, clothes, so many other things that's needed on a day to day, and you're providing that. You're making sure it's get there in a timely order, and you're providing that. So that's a big salute to the guys that's on the road, and I don't think people were looking at it like that.
Yeah.
And it's a character builder also. You know what I mean? The same stuff that draws people to be truck drivers is the same thing that can poison them. You know, that
Yeah,
isolation, you being gone, when you're emotional and you don't have that help. 'Cause, especially when you're going through relationship
yeah,
problems, that's the
yeah,
worst
yeah.
place to be. Gone, when you arguing, you know what I'm saying? You 3,000 miles away, she able to move around. You in the back of a parking lot. You got to have your mental together. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Instead of saying I'm gonna go home to check and see what's
Right.
going on. It's
Right.
a grow up job. That's why I
Yeah.
said, you got to go through everything the hard way out there.
In fact, you definitely got to be disciplined. I feel like I
Hmm.
take a lot of discipline and a lot of focus. I got a ton of respect for every single truck driver, and even the guys that's in the sprinter vans and the cargo vans as
Yeah.
well. Um, just doing different things, and this the transportation industry. Period. Everybody that transporting every single thing.
On them
Not to box
highways.
nobody out.
Yeah.
I respect
Hmm.
your dedication wholeheartedly for
So if
sure.
somebody is going to be entering the box truck industry, what kind of advice would you give them as a broker?
I would tell them to get good insurance.
Hmm.
Try not to go the rental route. Those rental prices is like super
Stupid.
duper ridiculous, man.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like
yeah.
ridiculous. Those rental prices are ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I would try to, find you a good, whether you leasing a truck, find a good number. If you pay for one, that's even better. Make sure everything is good and with compliance. Make sure you check the truck to make sure it don't break down on you 2 weeks after you buy the truck. You know, and then search for a team before you actually hit the road. Because a lot of these people get MCs and DOTs, they think they good. They hit the load board and they think that's the end all be all. And it's like, yeah, it's a lot of stuff been going on to where though they're not working with you unless you 6 months to a year in,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
90
Hmm.
days
Exactly.
in. So now
Exactly.
you got this truck insurance and this possible truck note,
Yeah.
and you ain't got no work.
You're preaching
Mm.
to TLA group right now. We was renting
You
a
ain't
truck.
lying.
We rented a truck.
And
My
you don't
hat
got
just my hat just grew back.
yeah, you don't got no work. That's so don't do that, right? Let's take time out to figure out, okay, I need this amount of days, this amount of time. Okay. So figure out your way around that, whether you lease it onto someone's, authority or to with a company until your 8-year authority grows, or immediately try to find you, talk to the shippers before you even set any of those things up, get those relationships and then circle back.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm.
Then you
Yeah.
get the truck, get in compliance, and you come back and say, hey, listen, I got my shiny new toy that you said if I get it, you'll do
Mm.
business with me, right? I
Exactly.
Yeah.
I got it now, and then that way you're a little bit more ahead of the game versus
Hmm.
being so much behind the 8 ball. Really, really dig and do your homework. Really dig and do your homework. Don't just go off of the gurus.
Yeah.
Don't go with the gurus. Don't go off of the gross money. Don't go off of the
Yeah.
good times that they had and not showing you about the bad times, about the tire the flat tires cost this, the death and the gas prices go change in different cities and states. Um
Tolls in the East Coast, the
tolls.
tolls in the
What
East.
in that
Yeah.
New Jersey?
Oh yeah, but
Oh
y'all told
man.
y'all told City up there, man.
Yeah, yeah, we told
I
City up there.
love I love
Hey,
it because
Administration fees.
y'all do pay well, but y'all get it back in blood when
Y'all
hey,
them
get it
let,
tolls. Boy.
hey, listen. Even with the tolls now in PA, they got the ones like over top that they just take take the picture of your license plate when you come and do
Yeah.
and
Oh, I
charge
know.
you then.
I got a whole mailbox full of them
Oh,
motherfuckers.
you
People
yeah,
had to-
yeah. I'm starting to get collection letters, so I gotta
I'm
start
like,
paying them.
shit.
So you gotta, I feel like a lot of people never even took the time to look at the map, took the
Yeah,
time out to even understand that. So it's good that we're talking about it and bringing awareness to it so it make guys calm down
yeah,
Hmm.
and really do their homework before they, out of, sitting there with the dumb look and the dumb face because they didn't spend their life savings on something that they heard on TikTok.
correct,
You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
correct,
So
correct.
somebody came to me, a guy came to me based upon something he heard on TikTok and realized really fast that wasn't that. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't afford
Mm.
this industry just yet. He
Yeah,
wasn't
because
he wasn't prepared.
we tell people that you need $30,000 or more just to start.
Yeah.
You need because we
After
started
no,
out,
after
yeah,
that you
I
yeah.
think
become
that's
You need
after you
working
after
after
you bought the
you need
truck.
after the
about
Yeah.
truck.
50,000.
Yeah.
Really, you need
I
about
think that's the thing.
50.
I just people just are like so hell bent on getting a newer truck. Like, dude, that a truck note is gonna, especially for somebody new, it's gonna tear your head off. Like, you don't need a truck note. If you can go buy a truck cash, go get that motherfucker cash. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trust me,
or
hindsight is a mother. If we could have
But
did it
you
over,
but you know
but
what else people doing and they getting misled by? Dudes is doing all that, getting those trucks and got $500 to their name and they want to do loads because they heard it. They got a factory company and they feel like they can build day to day with loads to feed themselves. They got 500. They go out. They say, oh, I can do this load. I can get it factored, and then I can have that money from that, and I can keep just doing it like that and keep trying to build my money. And then flat tire go, or this happen, or this, or some type of maintenance issue happens, and then now you're in the red $3,000.
oh yeah. Oh
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? And
Mhm.
it's like, why would you ever get on a road with five? I'm talking about. I literally had a time where I dispatched somebody. He had $500 to his name. He came on the road for $500,
We
thinking
had
he
a
was
Mm.
going to build
business
from there.
we had a business partner who
Crazy.
we was trying to work with a business partner, and I was telling him, I needed to pay him a difference, right? And
Mhm.
I'm like, if we pay you, we're going on the road with nothing.
Yeah,
I'm like nothing, but he was so money hungry at that time that he couldn't see the big picture. He had two trucks we had run. We was like we could work together, but he was so money hungry
right,
that we could not even work together. I mean, he ended up owing me $15,000 when I won my small claims court case. But at the end of the day, it's like he couldn't see what we could build if we would have worked together. He was so stupid, just
right,
really stupid. But
right.
it's getting to 45-minute mark. Is there any other questions that you guys want to ask?
No, I appreciate that insight on the East Coast, especially his area. His area is not truly East Coast. It's kind of well, all the politics not. You down there a little lower. You got them three. You got them three cities. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
wanna come. I wanna come out there and party for a good week just to go through them three.
Call
So
call me, man. Call me. Call me.
all
And I
right,
gotta
I
I
will.
gotta both all of y'all in the places that I've been to Atlanta many times. I still have yet to go to Houston
Okay
myself.
then.
So
Well,
I'd love
yeah,
to come out there and politic with you guys. We can get something to eat. All that.
Yeah.
Yep.
got
Let
you. We'll
him
do the
know.
same. We'll do the
Yeah.
same.
Right.
And so,
Oh
one
yeah, oh
thing
yeah.
before we end, do you want to say anything about your business? If anybody want to contact you or anything
Yeah.
like that?
If anybody wants to contact me, first and foremost, I want to say, I'm a small brokerage, but I'm for the people, right? I'm for you. If anything that I can figure out, you're gonna talk to me personally, and if there's anything that I can figure out, we're gonna figure it out together how we can make and get more of the pie together, versus trying to manipulate you into taking crumbs and pennies on the dollar.
Hmm.
Right?
Okay.
So you're dealing with somebody direct when you're dealing with myself. And you're dealing with an individual that got a lot of drive, a lot of ambition, right? And a lot of dedication to try to change the narrative on brokering, and kind of what that looks like. Obviously, every broker that's out there, big time brokers don't look like myself. You
Mm-hmm.
Right.
know, so I can relate to the individuals that are boots on the ground, for sure. Um, and yeah, man, you can contact me at kingfamfreight.com. Again, that's kingfamfreight.com, spelled King, F as in Frank, A as in Apple, M as in Monday, the word freight, FREIGHT.com. I'm on there. I have you scroll down and say join our carrier network. Feel
Okay.
free to leave your MC or DOT. You will be automatically included in my database. And then I'll see you. And then also my email is on there as well. So feel free to send me an email to reach out if you want to talk personally.
Mm-hmm.
We can do that as well. So, hey, man,
I will
I'm
be
here.
I
signing
appreciate
up tomorrow and I will be contacting you because I definitely want to build relationships with brokers for my platform because I will have verified carriers and dispatchers and drivers that will join.
Cool,
Everybody will
it.
be
cool,
verified.
cool,
Appreciate you, brother.
cool,
Appreciate
All
you.
right.
cool. Appreciate you guys. I thank you for taking the time out for even having me on you guys' platform. It's a lovely platform. I like how you got. I love the flyer. I like how you had the reminder emails going out with the link. So professional.
Thank
So so so
you.
so so
Thank
top notch,
you.
next level. You would think you guys was a Fortune 500 company,
I
and
I
work
tell
that's the
for
her.
service.
one.
I tell her. I
That's
tell her.
that corporate in me. That's that
Yeah.
Yes,
corporate in me.
But
indeed.
that's that service. You guys are providing that service,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
right? Of like no matter what level I'm at, what level that a person may perceive me as, I'm gonna always give you steps and steps ahead of that. I'm gonna give you 5-star level. So
Exactly.
love and great
Exactly.
conversation, and I appreciate you guys for having me.
All
No
righty.
problem, brother.
Appreciate you.
Thank
Appreciate you.
you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you, you
Appreciate you.
guys.
All
Have a
Yes,
right.
nice one.
indeed.
You too.
All right.